table that tonight. We're going to table that tonight because we don't know enough about it. We'll bring, no, we'll bring it back next month.
Tonight?
Well, let us digest it a little bit more first.
Well, what's...
Oh, you're telling me when we take it to council, we're going to say?
Yeah. Well, they're going to
What's
discuss.
Terry Freeman's issue?
They just wanted to discuss it a little bit, and then we'll just take it.
All right.
Huh?
Well, we'll know more about
was
it
he on the
we'll
airport
talk next month.
Have your attention, please. It's time for us to get started. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll be led in our invocation tonight by Pastor Mark Likens. Before we start that, we're going to have a brief moment of silence. As most of you know, tragedy visited our community this year in a way that most of us are still trying to come to terms with. So we'd like to observe a moment of silence. Pastor Likens, if you'll step to the microphone, we'll follow that with a pledge to the prayer. So if you would, all please rise.
Let's pray. God, we thank you so much for this time and this place that we live in. God, we are truly a blessed people who live in Russellville, Arkansas. God, we live in a time of great health care. We live in a time of great opportunity. We live in a time of great prosperity. And it's appropriate to say thank you to you for that. Because of that, we have lots of opportunities and decisions to make. And so, Lord, there's wisdom that's needed. I pray that you'd grant the council this evening the wisdom to sift through all the possibilities, find the greatest good for our community. Lord, I pray for outstanding ability for people to communicate tonight as they present issues. I pray that you'd help them to be relaxed and think clearly, that they would feel like that they put their best foot forward. Lord, I pray that this room would be a room of peace and joy. God, I ask that all of our lives would be reflective, and that you would help us to live examples of hopeful and peaceful lives in our community, that we might have a positive impact on each other, and not just inside this room and outside of this room. And finally, Lord, I would ask that especially that you would comfort and care for these children that are without their parents. And I ask that you would supernaturally work in their lives to give them peace and to set them back on a footing that they can move forward. God, we need your help, and so we ask for it. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, and be seated, please. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Caruth?
Here.
Mr. George? Oops, that's an old one.
That'd be Mr. Straight.
Mr. Straight?
Here.
Mr. Sims?
Here.
Ms. Harris?
Present.
Mr. Wiley?
Here.
Mr. Tripp?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Westcott?
Here. Everybody's here. We have a quorum. Council, in your package, your minutes were posted online and mailed out. Trust you've all had a chance to look those over. If there's no questions or corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
I believe that went to Mr. Westcott. Second went to,
Second.
second, we're going to give the second to Ms. Caruth. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That'll bring us to the finance report. Mr. McCoy, you got news for us?
Finance report for March. Revenues were $857,147. March, 7.3% above our projections. Tax receipts of $662,365. Franchise fees and permits, $44,973. General fund expenditures, $1,400,750. That's 16.74% above our year-to-date projection. We received $307,602 less than expended. Operations for street fund, operation revenue was $136,570, 12.73% below their projection. Sales tax receipts were $518,597. Half-cent road tax, $48,996. Street fund expenditures were $157,107, 0.64% above their projections. Sales tax improvements was $49,016 for sidewalks, drainage, and overlay. There was no capital expenditures. Revenues, economic development, $43,584, $41,083 new sales tax, $25,001 interest. Expenditures were $632,831. Arkansas Valley Alliance, Weir Road, and the down payment we made on the fire trucks. Capital assets, revenues were $298,388, $97,654 for new sales tax, $735 interest. We transferred $200,000 from the general fund. Expenditures, $126,517 to Citicorp, Building R&M, Animal Control, and the new fire station. Any questions? Thank you, Mayor.
No questions? Thank you, Mr. McCoy. I'm going to get off script here for a minute. Mr. Tripp, would you like to talk, Mr. McCoy mentioned that Economic Development Fund. Do you want to give an update on what we're finding out on the lights for the interstate that we've talked about?
Just in the little history leading up to
Where
it.
we're at and what we've asked for?
Some of you may know, or hopefully know, may not know, the current sales tax portion of the ED fund that's collecting, this is what we're in year 3 or 4 of the 7-year term. The idea was to better use some of those funds to better light our interchanges on the interstate. I think right now we have like 11 lights total, and I think 3 of them work. So the idea has been to utilize some of those funds to better light our interchanges and to kind of show that we're open for business, if you will. And Mayor and I met with a lighting representative, lighting company, early in the week, and he is working on a proposal to give us 2 options. One, to relight the exit 81, 84, and 78, or whichever one, Highway 7, Weir Road, and 84, sorry. Those 3 together give us one option of lighting all those, and the second option of doing some lighting in between the interchanges also, So hopefully in the coming few months, we'll have some hard numbers to look at and potentially get that taken care of.
I think we were both shocked. We were both expecting a much higher number. And so these will be the same heads. If you've been through Conway in the dark lately, you see what they've done. That was the type of head. They're a direct replacement for the heads that we've got out there now. But the mean time between failures they don't even compare.
Just for the lights and poles, without engineering or construction or installation costs, it was under $100,000.
Yeah.
So,
And
shock-
so-
surprising.
Mr. Tripp, I'll help you, and we'll keep pursuing this. I did have an email when I got back that he asked for the weekend to get that together. You should have it sometime next week. Okay, so that's going to bring us to the mayor's report. I could just bore you all to death with tales of woe from traveling for a few days, but I think you will enjoy better. First off, we'll have Ms. Vaughn. Are you ready? She'll come up to the podium. She has a presentation for the Exceeding Expectations Award for the first quarter of 2018.
This employee has worked for the city for around 5 years, and it's somebody that was nominated because of his exceptional service to the city. If you've ever had anything broke in your office or anything tears up, he's the person that you want to call. He pays attention to detail. He comes in with a smile on his face. He is just always ready to take care of whatever we need. This week we had some furniture that need to be moved, and him and the person that works with him came in, and I mean, they get the job done. And the great thing about him is he remembers the small details. So if he tells you today that he's going to bring that cord back or he's going to bring that plug back, tomorrow you'll have what you need. And it's Todd Chamberlain.
Todd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for all you do for us every day. He's another example of the guy that you can call on and turn it over to him and then turn it loose. All right, so since that was so much fun, I thought you guys might like to hear a presentation that one-time Alderman Kevin Freeman, I believe I saw him. Kevin, good to see you. He brought this to my attention a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that the council would rather hear this than my standard dull report. Ms. Sherry Shirley, would you step over to the podium and bring your guest with you? She's going to give you an update on a pretty big honor that Oakland Heights Elementary has got and an opportunity for some of us to think about.
You bet.
All right, I'm Sherry Shirley, and I am so excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about something that really cool that's happening at Oakland Heights Elementary. We are over across the street from the Boys and Girls Club. We have about 450 students in our school, and this year, for the very first time, we started a robotics team. And you usually think of robotics teams when you think of high school, but STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, is really important all the way down to elementary level. And so we were able to put together a 4th grade team this year, and it was our first time ever, and we didn't know what we were doing at all, did we, Corey?
No.
But we went to some competitions and figured out a lot of things and rebuilt the robot about, 4 times? And each time got a little bit better, and so we went to state, and our robotics team made 2nd place in the state, and they have qualified to go to a competition in Kentucky. So in all my 29 years as principal and teacher, I've never taken an elementary team to anything out of state, but because this is such a huge deal, we're going to take this team to Kentucky for about 5 days, I believe, and they're going to compete at a world competition. There are there will be teams from Korea, China, Mexico, and our elementary kids have qualified to compete with those teams. So very excited. I'm going to let Corey tell you a little bit about what her experience has been like on the robotics team, and then hopefully we're going to let her drive it and let you see how it works.
Hi, my name is Corey Brown, and I'm on the Oakland Heights robotics team. We are going to Kentucky for the 2018 World Robotics Championship. And on this team, we have very many different jobs. We have our drivers that drive the robot. We all get to drive it, just these are our main drivers. They're my friends Sadie, Issa, Jackson, and Riley. And then there are the coders, which are Jackson and Zachary. And then we have the researchers, which are Alasia, Fernando, and myself. The competitions are a little nerve-wracking because you get to compete with all these teams, and we got to compete in 6 skills competitions with 6 other teams in our last competition. And then we had our research project, and we made it to the finals, and we got 2nd place. And we are very excited about this opportunity to go to Kentucky. So, thank you.
Come on, guys, we got some.
We're going to stand up.
Is it not connected? Okay, we may not be driving it tonight. We may get. Turn it on. Oh, helps if you turn it on. The competitions that she's talking about are highly competitive. The boards are like a table, and the students have to do certain things on that table. And you'll see. Can you lift it up and down? Okay. They trap things in that part that has the rubber bands on it, and have to move them onto towers and take them off of towers. And they have to do all of this in less than a minute. So the competitions are very short, and they're highly competitive. And so they have to be able to drive fast. They have to be accurate with their placing the robot in the right places. And they have to do a lot of things within that time frame to get points. So it is quite fast-paced, and it's quite nerve-wracking, honestly. But this group has done an amazing job with it. We even won some top points for coding, which, as you know, is sort of the future of any kind of robotic engineering type industry is that. So I'm so excited to see these kids already excited. I think it's great for the future of Russellville to know that we have kids who are already looking at innovative ways to use coding, and I think it will just continue through our public school system. So thank you.
Very good. Just, Ms. Shirley, just a couple of questions. There's going to be a cost. Ms. Shirley? Yes, I'm not. Okay. I didn't know if you heard me with all the thunderous applause. That was a real good demonstration.
Yes, sir. There is a cost.
Is that covered, or are you trying to raise funds?
Our district paid the cost of the registration, and we are doing fundraisers as much as we can to help the parents pay for the cost of getting. So we originally estimated about $10,000 to take the 89 students that we have on the team. We're cutting every corner that we can in order to help as much as we can. So I think we're about $3,000 away from getting the essential things that we need.
When are you going?
It is the first week in May.
So you need to raise funds pretty quick.
We do. We're working as hard as we can on it. So this community has been extremely great. So I have to say that industry in Russellville
Well, if somebody in the audience or watching on our broadcast feels generous in the morning when they wake up, how can they get a hold of you?
Oakland Heights Elementary School, 1501 South Detroit, or you can call us. We'll take it any way we can get it. We have a fundraising site. Honestly, I can't remember the name of it. Y'all know, moms and dads? Anyway, come call Oakland, talk to me or anybody in the office, and we'll get you straightened out to the right spot. But yes, we want to make it as cost efficient as we can for our parents in order to make this great trip. They will compete for 3 days, so we've got 4 or 5 nights of motel room to pay for because we want to get them down there and get them acclimated, and then they have 3 days of competition and then a day to get home.
Thank you very much. Oh, Mr. Tripp?
Is there, Mayor, and this may be a question for Jerry, you know, up here as council members, there's a high pay associated with it, you know, is there a
You
way
need write-offs, I can say that.
is there a way that,
You're 16.
that, like the May portion or whatever, the May, however, as far as the council, like mine, that could be just diverted to that fundraiser straight from the city?
That's your,
What's the question again?
Is there any way, you know, we all get $400 a month or
Right.
whatever it is. So is there a way that instead of sending that directly to me, you can just divert my portion to the school as a fundraiser?
Yeah, we could do it as a tax, like a,
Do you need us to sign something? Can you
We would
send
have
us
to have you sign something
And
and-
then we can just divert that
Yeah.
to them?
So is
Yes.
that a challenge?
No, I mean, no, anybody that wants to, I mean, just, I mean, regardless if it's just me or all of us or half of us, but.
yeah. Yeah, we just
Okay.
need something signed that we're gonna take this out of your check and
And you'll
send it to
that-
them.
You'll send that to us? Okay, thank you.
Well, I accept that challenge. What about the rest of you?
I do too.
Mayor,
how much you gonna go? Throw out a number?
I mean, whether we do, or, you know, if all of us do it, we can do the half amount, or if some of us, then do the full amount.
We'll get together
Ma-
tomorrow, and I'll get in on it. And then, I
Mayor.
normally turn my phone off, y'all know I do, but I guess it's just providence, I left it on. I've got somebody that I trust that says they'll give you $300 tomorrow, so call me, I'll call you.
Mayor. Can you talk to Christie and see if A&P can give them any money?
That's probably something they
A
could fund.
community grant?
We
It
can
would-
give
it
them
would be
commu-
promoting, what do you think?
I wish I'd have known this today, so you could have came to our A&P meeting, and we could have gave you a community grant.
We've got a contingent opinion from the legal department that says they can donate for that.
I'll talk to
Mr. Smith
Christie, and
says
you
yes.
talk to her too, Christie Graham, A&P. And we'll see if we can't get you some money through A&P, because that's a community money, so that's a tax money, so I'll see if I can get you some money. Okay, I'll try to get a hold of her tomorrow.
Mayor,
Good.
y'all will send something out to us to.
Help me, let's get together in the morning, Jerry, and we'll send something out and let everybody sign up your own thing or whatever.
This don't
That
happen
good?
every day.
Very proud of you. Good work. That's going to bring us down to our department report. This month, it's Mr. Junior Marple from Public Works. Junior, do you think you could give her a drawing of what you need for a culvert cleaner and maybe put it on the front of that deal? Just by direct?
I was fixing to say, how do you follow something like that anyway? I mean, but yeah, we just purchased that remote control cleaner, or we're working on that, so would fall right into their categories. Monthly.
We'll put that out on our social and website too, see what we can drum up for them. Go ahead, Junior.
Of course, this is Public Works. We're kind of made up of, as most people know, several different departments, or what I consider departments, and it's kind of a step through kind of what's going on with us. Start with our GIS department. Besides their, general day-to-day getting people out information and all that, they've been working on this, the Luca, which is a local update for census addresses. It's something new, trying to get ready for the 2020 census on that. Of course, our fleet department, constantly repairing equipment. This time of year, we're getting busier and busier, but one of the main objectives is, get all of our equipment prepared for the mowing season, which we've kind of already started part of it, but be doing more of that. Of course, the traffic department, they've been working with the Las Vegas Marathon folks on preparing for this weekend's marathon, along with some of the street department guys. And then they've, with the new paving out on Main Street, they had some issues. When they done some milling, milled up some of the loops and stuff, and we're replacing a lot of that stuff with new cameras. So they've been busy trying to get that in and tweaking that. The street department portion of us, we're finishing up a drainage project that we're doing in-house on South Independence. It's kind of it's really between 12th and 8th Street, just almost complete there. We're working on numerous culvert replacements areas that are issue areas. It always comes up to a lot of them needing replaced for the drainages. We've been working on some sidewalk repairs, replacement, some areas. One main area we've been kind of replacing quite a bit is on South Commerce. We're kind of trying to do some of that during our kind of down season, but right now we're kind of on hold. Hopefully can finish up that one side, get it completed here before we really get wide open on the mowing and all that other stuff during the summer. We've, of course, started our mowing. Streets, some of the stuff down, the stuff like Parkway areas that we mow with our lawnmowers, we've gotten started on some of them. So, and then the tractor mowing, which would be the right-of-ways on some of the outside streets and stuff. We're looking at trying to start them end of the month, the 1st of May. Weed, been doing some weed control, trying to get ahead of that. Of course, we're always behind. Some of the sidewalks and areas, curb and gutters, we're trying some products that maybe with some pre-emergence stuff that maybe will stay with it and help us throughout the year and not have to try to concentrate so much on weed eating and continue spraying on some of those. And started our overlay for the year. Met with some of the contractors on that. They'll probably be getting going on that probably next week or within a couple of weeks. They'll be starting on that. And then, of course, our capital purchases. I think we've got most everything. Y'all approved the one item, the larger item, this seat tonight, and we've probably got couple items left that I'm still kind of trying to tweak on that, but everything's either ordered or purchased on that. But so kind of all I've got on it right now. Does anybody got any questions? Or
Hey, Junior, you did a good job cleaning the ditches out down on Denver Avenue. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah.
And Junior, you did a good job, or you're doing a good job on Independence Street. I get phone calls on that one, and they certainly appreciate it. I think you've replaced some culverts and ditches over there also. So,
Yeah, that's that one we're kind of finishing up.
And they're
there,
very
but
appreciative.
And
I'll pass it
Junior,
on.
you're doing a good job of addressing citizens' issues too.
Look,
Thank you.
Mr. Marple, before you sit down, you gave some numbers out about what the Public Works Department is doing. I did not hear these numbers that I've got here in front of me. I was not aware of this until your department provided these numbers to me, that the city of Russellville has 191 miles of city streets. That's like a trip from here to Texarkana.
Yeah.
That you all are responsible for with a very limited number of people. You've got over 51 miles of sidewalks. That's like a trip from here to Mayflower.
Yeah.
Of just sidewalks that you're responsible for.
Yeah, and we're trying to get a few more of them, try to replace some of them too as we're going. But you know, some of that's gonna be maybe, some, contract jobs, probably looking at doing that. I think this year we're just gonna have to be able to continue with what we're able to do in-house, but, thank you.
Very pleased. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Junior. Well done for your first report.
Junior, who's doing El Paso? Who's cleaning that up?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that, Junior. You deserve another attaboy for that one.
Yeah, we've kind of got some bids on trying to spruce up, clean up. Public Works Department come through, I don't know, I guess the guys come through about 3 weeks ago, trying to pull weeds and clean up, and kind of got the bulk of that stuff done. And then, of course, with the race and stuff going, Mayor wanted to kind of check into sprucing up some of it, and we got some prices, but Gonzalez Landscaping is who we ended up going with on this here, and we hope to further maybe. I got them looking at, you know, we're missing a lot of plants on El Paso and stuff like that, and we're going to try to see how much of that we can get put back or something similar for them areas there. But they've been doing a real good job for us. And
You have been. It looks
seem
really, really
pleased
good.
with
Yeah,
I
it
think
looked a lot.
Looks
It
a lot
looked
better.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mr. Olson, what are we expecting this weekend for people in town? That one.
37 states and 3 countries, so there's about 2,500 overall runners.
Wow.
Good. Everybody remember that. This is Russ Vegas weekend, so get out and enjoy that. But it's amazing what a couple of loads of fresh mulch does for the bulb outs and for the beds along El Paso. It looks really good, Junior.
They need some more volunteers too.
Yep. All right, that's going to bring us to the Finance Committee. Are you ready to go, Mr. Chairman? Or do you
Yes, sir. I just wanted to explain. I had a couple of questions earlier about a couple items we had talked about on the agenda meeting, and I wanted to bring those up to clarify some things in my mind that created some confusion tonight, and I didn't mean that. Anyway, moving on. What we did on the last Tuesday on the agenda meeting, we passed these on to the council, and that was appropriation for economic development money, and that was $283,379.15. And I put that to the council for a motion. A vote?
All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, number 2, Department Mayor and staff appreciate the training. That was for $105. Send that to the council for the motion.
You heard the committee's motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 2 is approved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, appropriation, Police Department, expense vehicle R&M, that's past due restitution, that's for damage to a vehicle that they had, somebody throwing rocks at it. $400. Put that to
Throwing
the
rocks
council's
at it.
motion.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3 is approved.
Okay, number 4, appropriation, capital building funds, expense, that's to replace the 2 HVAC coils in City Hall. That was a cost of $7,993.34. Put that as a motion to council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 4 is approved.
Appropriation, number 5, Department Police Vehicle, expense vehicles, $31,601.38. To pass through to replace a 2017 Ford SUV. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5 is approved.
Okay, discussion on, about the job path powered by Friendship Community Care. This includes 3 workers and 1 job coach working 2.5 hours a week at a cost of $672 a month. I think this is a win-win. I put this to, as a motion to the council for a vote.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion?
Mayor, we got that 2 times. We got it on the second agenda too.
Okay, we'll cover it here and then move on. And that is 2.5 hours twice a week.
Yeah, you got it as number
Correct.
5 on the next one.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6 is approved.
The resolution for the mayor and others is needed to negotiate proper property, or for public works relocation.
Okay, council, you heard the committee's motion.
Making a motion.
Any discussion?
Do we have that on the other main agenda tonight?
It's referred up from Finance Committee, so, yeah, this is putting it, the committee's motion is to put it on before the full council.
So we'll get to talk about that a little later. Right
Yeah,
now?
right now.
Okay, Mr. Drake, what kind of numbers did you come out with?
Okay, first of all, please indulge me a few minutes. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, we were still in negotiation, but I believe we are far enough along where I can make a suggested price and terms for the mayor to present an offer. Of course, that's contingent on the approval by the council here tonight. Now, what we're talking about here is, we call it the EWI building. That is that large complex that lies just south of Western Sister. We're looking at the city purchasing that property, and in order to move Public Works from El Paso to this location. The purchase price, I'm going to suggest a purchase price of $785,000. This property was listed for $895,000. I think $785,000 is commercially reasonable, and of course, this is a proffer, this is an offer. At this point, it's not been fully accepted by EWI, but I think there's a good chance that it will be. Now, this contract is going to be subject to a lot of different things. Of course, it will be subject to title insurance. The seller, EWI, will provide us title insurance to make proof that good title will be conveyed. Also, okay, I'm sorry. My voice is kind of loud anyway. We're making demand that EWI provide us a new survey. And also I have put in there that that survey is to show all available acreage outside the floodway in the 100-year floodplain. We want to make sure that we do have some usable lands outside of this floodway property. Anyway, that will be paid for by the seller. I'm shooting for a closing date of around May the 28th, 2018. If we don't make that date, that will not be critical. That can easily be extended if necessary. EWI says if we do reach an agreement, they can vacate the premises within 45 days. That is important because if we do successfully contract with Arkansas Tech for them to buy El Paso, they basically are going to give us 90 days to vacate El Paso. So that should allow us enough time. Now, they're also going to provide us with a termite policy. That, again, is at the seller's cost. Now, if we do purchase this property, there are some potential tenants. There's the wooden frame building that sits out in front of the main building that's presently occupied by River Valley Drug Testing. They have recently remodeled that property, and if we do successfully contract, I'm going to ask that lease that they have just entered into be assigned to the city. That lease amount is basically for $325 a month. I understand that is for a year with 3 or 4 years extensions. Now, also EEG, who presently resides or is in this building, they have also asked for a 3-year lease. And that is without any extensions. It will be a flat 3-year lease. They are presently paying $1,830 a month lease. I'm going to recommend that that be up to $2,500 a month, which I think is more reasonable. Also, basically, they plan on occupying a good portion of the second floor, which is basically going to be around 25% of this property. I'm going to ask that they pay 25% of the utilities. On the first floor is Pelham Halverson or Campbell & Campbell, an insurance company, that is presently paying $1,150 a month lease, which I find to be reasonable. She's not occupying an exceptionally large space. She also wants a 3-year lease. And both of these latter tenants that I have mentioned, they do want a few common areas. They want to be able to use the bathrooms downstairs. There's 4 bathrooms, and there's the kitchen. And I see no problem with them using those common areas. Now, there's several other contingencies. I basically put in this contract that once we execute this contract, that the city will have 20 days to make a full inspection. I expect at that time Public Works will take a look at the downstairs and confirm the fact that they have plenty of room for their offices and that they have plenty of room for warehouse space. But they'll have time to do that. Also, this contract is to be contingent on that a successfully contract is executed between the city and Arkansas Tech for Arkansas Tech to buy the El Paso property. And also, and this, I think this is important, this contract is also contingent of both of these transactions closing simultaneously. In other words, when Tech buys El Paso and if we buy EWI, both of these transactions will be closed on the same day. That's to make sure there aren't any last-minute hitches and we're stuck with one contract and can't enforce the other. And that is pretty well the substance.
Mayor,
Mr. Wiley?
I make a motion that we offer them this amount of money and go into the contract.
I think we should
See,
continue
procedurally, this is
negotiations.
recommended. At this point, what we're looking for is formal authorization to present this.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Well, your committee has made it, so.
Okay.
I make a motion here, Mayor, from,
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Tripp?
Mr. McCoyne, will it affect our insurance, how the city's insurance is structured in our expense with it being in the floodway? Have we inquired about that to see what it would increase our insurance? So there'll be no...
Jerry, we probably need your answers recorded, so.
So there is no additional expense, city's insurance policy, by buying this building?
No. Well, the cost of the building, we insure. I mean,
Right, but
$785,000 to be insured for,
Is it elevated or the rate factor higher because
No.
it's in the floodway?
No.
Or floodplain, floodway? Okay. My second question is, the potential tenants, are we furnishing utilities or are they furnishing their own utilities?
Mr. Straight, I believe, said that
We will furnish the utilities except for EEG. They will reimburse us 25% per month for the utilities.
the house is on its own meter,
Yeah,
right?
the house is on its own, and they will pay their own utilities.
Yes.
I've got a question. If it's in our minds in the future, should we purchase this building to combine the offices of Public Works, Community Development, and City Corporation into one location? And I hope that's what our plans are. Why would we want to share that much office space with 3 outside entities? You were saying that 25% of the second floor would be taken up by EEG, is that correct?
most of the second floor will be taken up by EEG. They have stated that if, once we look at the space in the first floor, if we need a couple more offices upstairs, that'll accommodate that. But they predominantly will occupy the second floor.
How critical is extending these leases for 3 years? How critical is that to this contract going through?
In my negotiations, and of course this is my opinion, is the fact we're getting this building for $785,000. If we insist on these tenants immediately moving out, that price is going to go up because they're going to have to go through the expense of moving. And I negotiated hard to limit this to 3 years, but that's the best I can do and keep it at that price.
But that hamstrings us for 3 years.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's not realistic. I know I talked to Mr. Mallett yesterday, actually. They just spent a lot of money remodeling their building. They're not going to be in a hurry to take part in that right now. And the rest of it, I mean, long-term, I know what the goal is, and I think it would be handy to work that out. But if we can get a good portion of our cost back by sharing some of this space until we get that worked out, I think it's something to explore anyway.
Yeah, I think we need to take in consideration we're basically doubling our warehouse space, and that is beautiful office space down there on the first floor, and I just think it's a better facility. And I understand, I agree with you I would love to see community development and public works and maybe some other IT be combined in one spot. No, I think that needs to be the ultimate goal. But if we want to buy it at this price, we're going to have to be patient.
Any other discussion?
Let me ask, I think I already know, but what is our annual income from rent? Over 100,000 for 3 years, if they stay there 3
You know,
years?
I haven't added it up, but
42,000 a year.
42,000 a year? Times 3?
Mhm.
Plus 1/3 of the, 1/4 of the, 1/3 of the utilities?
1/4 of the utilities.
1/4 of the utilities.
Yes.
No brainer.
Anything else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7 is approved, Mr. Chairman.
Number 8, consideration payment for the February statement of Arkansas Valley Alliance. I put that to the council for, as a motion for a vote. It's 87.
All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 8 is approved, Mr. Chairman.
New business. Before we get there, cross out number 5 because we've already discussed that in the. Is that?
Oh,
Did
did you
we
hear
just-
that, Mr. Chairman?
I thought we just appropriated that, did we not?
Did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't do the price.
We didn't do the appropriation.
We
for
did
it.
the job. We still need the price. 2016.
Okay. That's. Okay. Okay, appropriation, Department Administration, travel training, that's, what, for 3 employees?
This one is for Ms. Taylor to go to clerk training.
Okay, that's $120.46. Put that as a motion.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 1 is approved.
Number 2, appropriation, Department Parks Capital Sales Tax, and the expense for Aquatic Center, AFLAX inflatables. I think it's a win-win thing here. $13,578. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 2 is approved.
Number 3, Department Police Vehicle expense, this is pass-through for insurance damage, $4,036.51. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 3 is approved, Mr. Chairman.
Appropriation, Department of Parks Department. This is an expense for salary, pension, FICA. This is for the new salary for the new Parks Director. This is $15,520.82. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 4 is approved. Item 5, no, we do.
No, go ahead.
Just for the money.
Okay, appropriation, we've discussed this for the expense for the contract labor job path, $2,016. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion?
Mayor, I want to be sure to see that that's a 3-month appropriation. It's not for the whole year.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 5 is approved.
Number 6, consideration payment, first quarter statement for the Boys and Girls Club. They're $18,000. Put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 6 is approved.
Okay, number 7, consideration for payment for first quarter statement from the Main Street, Russellville. Requested $14,243. They're allowable $15,000. Put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 7 is approved.
Number 8, a resolution for the mayor and city clerk to sign necessary documents and all necessary paperwork for in lieu property tax from Olin Corp. I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 8 is approved.
Number 9, ordinance for restructure of the fees for the Oakland Cemetery new area. I put that to the council as a motion.
Question. Will this be coming back later if it passes tonight?
This is an ordinance.
Motion to suspend the rules and read the first of 3 readings by title only with a short explanation.
Okay, so everybody clear on that? The motion, your motion is to suspend for the first reading only.
Correct.
And we'll have 2 more readings.
Correct.
All right. We've got a motion to suspend for the first reading only. Read by title only.
Motion.
Okay, we got a second from Ms. Harris. All in favor of the motion to suspend, say aye.
Aye.
Do we need to roll call that?
No, you just
Okay.
need to see if there's
Any
2/3.
opposed?
No. No.
Well, then now you
All right,
do.
we better do a roll call. We're voting on the motion to suspend with the reading requirement.
Correct.
We talked one time last year, we're gonna start saying, all we're dispensing is the reading requirement.
Reading in full.
We don't wanna listen.
This is the first of 3 readings?
Yes, sir, this will be the first of 3.
That's good.
Mr. Westcott?
Westcott, I second.
Second was Ms. Harris.
We're gonna read it 2 more times.
I'm okay with it, yes.
Mr. Westcott. Start with Mr. Westcott, then Ms.
Yeah,
Harris.
go with the one that motions in second.
Westcott?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Straight?
Yes.
Sims?
No.
Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Mr. Wiley?
No.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
All right, motion to suspend is approved. Mr. Smith?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 2139 to apply different purchase prices for grave lots in the Memorial Gardens edition of Oakland Cemetery, and for the purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would amend the current ordinance that governs, among other things, the revenues accounts of Oakland Cemetery by amending Section 2 and adding a new subsection B for the proposed and still being developed Memorial Gardens edition of Oakland Cemetery, and would set out new purchase prices for traditional and cremation graves, and add and separate out the perpetual care fee and establish a perpetual care fee for both of the aforementioned grave purchases.
All right, that's reading one. We will be back next month with second reading. Item 10, Mr. Chair, was that
That's been tabled.
tabled to next month, correct?
That's correct, sir. We'll bring it back up.
Okay. Item 11,
These are late item additions here. Resolution to accept a bid from Hard Rock Construction for apron damage at the airport, and I would like to combine that with 12 too, because they're the same thing. It's 11 and 12, put those together, and I put that as a motion to the council.
Council, are you clear on that? The committee is recommending 11 and 12. It's for repair at the airport. So any discussion on those two items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 11 and 12 are approved, Mr. Chairman.
Number 13, resolution to accept a bid for culvert cleaner machine. This was a add-on here, and that was for $99,250. I put that to the council as a motion.
Sorry, I got distracted, Mr. Chair. Council, you heard the committee's motion. Is there any discussion?
That was the cheapest bid.
Yep. Right, Jerry.
Must be an awful nice
Lowest bid.
machinery.
Only bid. Only bid.
Only bid, oh my goodness, that's not good.
That's one we've already had.
Any other discussion?
Huh?
Now, is this the automatic deal, Mr. Markle? This culvert
This-
cleaner?
This the one you
Remote?
ride?
Yeah, remote. Mr. Westcott, you looked into this, right?
I did. It's an extremely specialized piece of equipment. There are similar pieces of equipment available at a lesser price, but not radio controlled like this one.
And that was a safety concern, I think? Right.
Sure. I mean,
You
there's
don't have to
machines
ride
that
in
you
the
could physically fit in there, but not with a person on the back of it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item is approved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'd go into another late edition. It's conceptual design for PBR, which is progressive bike ramps. This is supposed to be all-inclusive, to include even the handicap. And I put that for the conceptual design, I put that to the council as a motion for vote.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, discussion.
I want to amend his motion. I want to table this till next month. Being we just got it this afternoon, we need to look at it a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion, we table it till next month.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table till next month. So that's what we'll be voting on. All in favor of tabling?
Mayor, can I ask you a clarification question on this
Yes.
before? Mr. Olson, on this, this $5,000, does this cover the whole park design or
Yes,
just
it's
the
the whole
bike
thing.
portion?
It's the inclusive playground as well as the kids, the bike park along with the kids' bike playground, as well as site work to go along with it as well.
Okay, thank you.
It's the whole thing.
Question, do you know how long this bid is good for?
30 days, I believe, was the last thing, but I mean, it shouldn't be a problem to extend that, but
Have you tried to get the money anywhere else?
Tried. Hey, I have applied for several grants as well to go.
That's not what I'm talking about.
what'd you
You know what I'm talking about? No?
No.
Okay.
No success on the grants?
Haven't heard. I mean, we've just applied last week. We got it passed through the Parks and Rec last week, and as soon as we did, the mayor suggested going after a few other grants at the same time to show due diligence, and we've done that. Feel pretty positive about it.
We'll have a lot more information on this by next month.
We can.
Thank you.
You'll probably have more information. I'd be surprised. I mean, normally a grant process takes longer than that.
That's what we're trying to get a jump on for the, especially the state Parks and Rec grant, which goes in August, I believe, so.
We had in mind 3 more steps.
Okay.
No, that's right. This is for the actual design, I mean, for the actual project, not just the design.
Just a conceptual design. This is not going
Yeah,
to be
this is literally
engineering and
just to get a
elevation.
cost, so that we know what we're looking at. I mean,
Did we talk about what you think the overall cost of the project would be?
Well, again, I hate throwing out numbers, but, I would think that.
Use a typical, because there's other cities.
That's right. This is all specialized work and all that. That's why we're having to go through this other company, because it's not like you can just go to the local construction company and find out what it costs. So they're going to give us a cost analysis on it. But from my background in this construction field, I would assume that a total project's probably $750,000. I think after we get all the grants that we've been looking into, that the city is probably going to be out about $150,000 to $200,000. So I mean that leaves over $500,000 in grant money out there. Especially for these kinds of projects.
I'm assuming there's some pretty serious ADA compliance issues with this type of deal.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about fall levels and all kind. I mean, it's a sensory park as well as a disability park. So or a handicap accessible park. So it's they cover all that stuff.
Any other questions? All right. At this point, we've got a motion to table and a second. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, table till May. Mr. Chair, we'll keep that on your...
That's all I have for right now. Mayor.
That's it? All right. Chairman Harris, do you have anything at this time, or are you still in process?
Not really. We met a couple times this month, and we tabled the custodian contract or something. Still working on that.
Okay.
And then the other one was just interviewing.
Okay. Very good then. That's going to bring us down to old business. Item 1, an ordinance and public hearing for the vacation of 15 feet on each seat of South Greenwich. Ordinance.
This Fifth
No, we
Street
have
and
to do it
Sixth
right
Street,
now.
East Sixth Street.
Declare it open.
All right, so we're going to declare the public hearing open. This is vacating right-of-way South Greenwich between East 5th Street and East 6th Street. Anybody have any interest in speaking on that? Doesn't appear like. All right, then, we will close the public hearing. Council, this is an ordinance.
Motion to suspend, read by title only,
short
short
explanation.
explanation.
Stereo.
We got a race going on.
All right, so, let's see, have we given any to Mr. Wiley tonight?
No,
Is
I
that all right?
haven't.
We'll
I've
give
been
Mr.
quiet.
Second thing.
All right, so, but it was reverberating, so what was, restate your motion. What are you suspending?
Make a motion, we suspend the rules, read by title only with short explanation.
And you're
First time,
suspending
first time only.
For the first reading only?
No,
For all three
readings.
The motion is to suspend on 3 readings. Is that what you're seconding? Correct. All right. All in favor of the motion to suspend, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance vacating and abandoning the 15 feet on each side of South Greenwich Avenue between East 5th Street and East 6th Street in the city of Russellville, Pope County, Arkansas. And for the purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would abandon the 15 feet of each side of South Greenwich Avenue between East 5th and East 6th Street, as further exhibited by Exhibit A attached thereto with this ordinance, and also Exhibit B attached thereto as legally described within Exhibit B.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, so now we have the motion to adopt from Mr. Wiley and a second from Mr. Westcott, and we'll need to call the roll on that.
Wiley,
Yes.
Mr. Westcott,
Yes.
Tripp,
Yes.
Mr. Sims,
Yes.
Mr. Straight,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Caruth. Yes.
All right. So the ordinance is passed, and they
You need an
are
emergency
asking for the emergency clause.
Motion on the emergency clause.
We have a motion to do the emergency clause for Mr. Westcott.
Second.
Second on the emergency clause for Mr. Wiley.
I was gonna be quiet.
All in favor of adopting the emergency clause, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, emergency clause granted. Thank you for your patience on that. Okay. Item 2, Mr. Smith, you're saying that was pulled last week?
That's my understanding.
By the
Well, it was
petition.
I think last month it was
Last month,
removed,
okay.
And so
So through two's dead?
2's dead for now. See, 3 covered in committee, right?
correct, committee report.
So 3, don't need 3?
Okay, so old business 3 has already been covered. So that's going to bring us down to new business. 1 is going to be lengthy, 2 could be lengthy. I'm going to take a little break right here and share something with all of you, because I just think that for the rest of the meeting, it could be handy to know the kind of people that you deal with in your community. I forgot to turn the phone off again. I got another text. Somebody in this audience is donating $3,000 to Oakland Heights for their robotics program. Thank you.
That's quick.
Totally anonymous. They don't want anything out of it. They don't even want to be recognized. They just want to do the right thing for some people in town that are doing the right thing.
Mayor, can I say how proud I am of Russellville tonight?
You can all say that if you want to.
Proud of Russellville. Well, I had to say that.
So, item 1, discussion of the ADFA program. Mr. Straight? Can you
Yes.
make that understandable to somebody like me?
Well, yes. Right after I got appointed to this council, I ran into a program. It's basically a rehabilitation program administered by ADFA, the ADFA being Arkansas Development Finance Authority. I think they're a little embarrassed for the fact they have $1,700,000 to rehab older housing type structures. It basically is a $25,000 grant. And they basically structure it as a loan, but after 5 years, that loan is forgiven. In other words, it's a $25,000 grant outright. And this is for low to medium income people. Kind of embarrassing to say, but even most teachers would qualify under this program. I have spoken to Brian Holstein at Community Development. I gave him a copy of the operations manual. It's around 400 pages long. This is HUD money. In order to properly apply, you're probably going to have to fill out 20 to 30 documents, and it is an administrative nightmare. But what I'm going to ask for tonight is, since I'm kind of the new and stupid alderman, I eventually would like to have a committee appointed to look into to see if it's feasible for us to administer this program. What I have envisioned is there are 2 or 3 cities or counties that are actually administering this program. I would like to visit with them, and I would also like to visit with ADFA, because at one time, Universal Housing attempted to administer this program through ADFA, and they were terribly difficult to deal with. So I want to be cautious about getting the county involved in this unless I know there's a clear administrative path. Because in order to implement this program, it's probably going to take 1 full-time administrator to do this program. Now, this program is not just for rehabilitation. It also can mean new construction for low-income people and also for rehabilitation of old apartment complexes. But I think that's too much to start off with all at once. I would think the rehabilitation thing would be the easiest thing to administer at first. So what I'm asking for, I guess, is a committee be appointed and that we be authorized to look into this program. Do I need to ask for a resolution, or?
We could just do a motion in support of, could we not? And is anybody interested in helping Mr. Straight on that? I would like for me and you to go to West Central Planning.
Okay.
They're used to administering and dealing with those very complex grant.
Yeah, I think Mr. Westcott raised his hand over there.
I think Miss Freddie has time to help with that, doesn't she?
I would love to work with Mr.
Okay,
Strait.
and Freddie, okay. All right, let's give it a try.
All right, so let's make a note here. We got Mr. Straight, chairman. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Freddie?
You did good. You
Appreciate
did,
it. All right.
did
So far,
good.
so good, Mayor.
Mr. Westcott,
He can be
Ms.
vice.
Harris.
He can be vice chairman.
all right.
Are you saying you took advantage of Mr. Straight's own words?
Me? Nah.
I mean, he'll learn over time. He'll get used to it. You will cover all your bases. Never miss a meeting, Mr. Straight. Do you want to add somebody from the community? Is there somebody from the community that needs to be involved too? Like,
I know Brian Holstein needs to be involved.
Throw Freddie's name out there.
No, I'm already on here.
Huh?
Already.
somebody from Universal Housing,
I-
Russell Housing Authority?
Where this idea originated from was actually out of Main Street. I would like to keep them in the fold. So I
Okay.
think John Harris off of Main Street would be a perfect person to add.
Let's just say Main Street rep.
Yeah, Main Street rep
Right.
would be great. Okay.
All right, so who made the motion to do that? Ms. Harris?
Yes, whatever, yes.
All right.
I'm
And
guilty.
the second was Mr. Westcott. So we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? At this point, we're learning this program, but I sat in on that. It sounds like free money to me to some people that could really, really use it.
Yeah, we can't just dismiss this. I think we're obligated to look into it.
You're
All
going to provide us with that 400-page manual?
Yes, I've already got copies out in my car and given them to you tonight.
That's why his car is leaning to one side. He's got 8 copies.
Mayor, you remember the time we tried to get that one house, and Bill was mayor, and we tried to get that one house? Well, hard of a time we had on that one.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, item 1 is approved. Number 2, consideration of an ordinance rezoning property to a PUD at Marina Road and Jennifer Lane. Ordinance.
Motion to suspend the rules, read by title only, short explanation, first of 3 readings.
Okay, so the motion is to dispense with the reading requirement for the first reading only.
I'll second that.
Second, Mr. Tripp. All in favor of the motion to suspend, say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
I believe Ms. Caruth was 7-1, we're suspending the rules. Mr. Smith?
In order to rezone certain real in the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and for other purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would rezone property currently zoned R1 to PUD that is located on Marina Road at Jennifer Lane. That is described in the attachments Exhibit A and is shown on the plans as Exhibit B, and it's commonly referred to and known as Hudson Harbor.
All right, that is the first of 3 readings I would expect. Be back next month. We had several people sign up to speak on that. Our practice is we don't debate until we get to that 3rd reading, so you've got plenty of time between now and then. Contact your council members, City Hall, whoever you need to. We'll debate that in either next month or the month after, depending on next month's motion. That'll carry us down to item 3, a resolution regarding demolition of an unsafe building.
Is this the one you're talking about? Is this the same one you're talking about?
Need a motion and a second to discuss, and we have a member of the public here that wants to address this one too.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Westcott.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wiley. All right, so for discussion, Ms. Short, would you like to inform us about that? If you would, state your name for the record.
They're short. And
Couldn't hear.
Tilt that down just a little bit.
is it better?
Yeah, there you go.
Myself and Cassandra Short and my partner, we have been working on trying to purchase that property. And I'm just going to read to you what we've gone over, my partner. Dear City Council, back in September of 26th of 2017, we entered into a contract with the owner of 2211 South Hartford Cove in Russellville. The owner is in her 70s and is blind and partially deaf. She couldn't take care of herself for the house she lived in for several years. And so she has no funds to do anything with it. She has said has not paid her mortgage in several years. The United States Department of Agriculture is the holder of the mortgage. The tile company Heritage Title and Closing back in October had a challenge in obtaining the payoff for the property to allow us to close on the house. The weekly calls to the USDA were very time-consuming, as there was no process that exists at the USDA to expedite the payoff. The title company's experience with the USDA was at a point where they gave up calling because of the lack of progress. We assisted the title company by calling to help push for a response. We called every 2 to 3 weeks, but the progress still remained at a turtle pace. An example of this is in late November, we were advised an appeal process was needed and it would only take 10 days. It took 10 weeks. So we didn't give up, and we were fully aware that we were running out of time for the Code Enforcement Agency. And so they wanted us to be prepared. And so in order to get this house prepared, we have to have closing to occur still. Though we advised USDA of the potential of a tear down happening by the city, did not expedite the process on their end. Finally, yesterday, the tile company received the payoff from the USDA that is good through June 3rd this year. We were elated at the news. As proof, we have an email from the tile company addressing, and I have a copy of this for y'all, the council, which I have a copy of, addresses the receipt of the payoff and the delays by the USDA. The tile company now needs time to do their work on the title search, and we believe they have that done by May 7th on their current workload. My partner and I are asking the City Council to please waive the resolution to demo this property and allow us time to do what we need. We've been trying to do since October of last year, and that is to close on the property so that we can repair and get per code. We understand that this requirement to the rehab agreement and bond. And once closing occurs, this rehab agreement will be signed and delivered to Code Department. We will start reaching out to licensed contractors, starting providing for the estimates on timing so that we can quickly get this house up to code. And I have a copy of the email from the tile company as well, if you want that.
Table this for a moment.
Does that make sense? I was trying.
Mr.
Smith.
I just have a question. When do you think you're gonna be acquiring the property? What's your timeline of acquiring the property?
Well, we have a contract already with the buyer, or the owner, and we've been waiting on trying to get we had a long time trying to find the paperwork. It was hard to find who owned the property first.
What is your estimate of getting the property?
Oh,
Of getting the property, because you're going to need to do that first in order to comply with what you're saying about rehabilitating, correct?
We have a contract already, and it's with a title company, so
Mm-hmm.
is that what?
And when does it say that you're going to get the title to it?
As soon as we get this done with the USDA, once
Do
they
you
get
have an estimate on that?
not offhand, no. Like I said, we just got a filing yesterday on getting back with us, so.
Do you have just a rough estimate of when you think that you can get this property cleaned up?
We believe within, like I said, we're hoping by the end of May.
What's that?
Hope in May, 1st of June area. So we are getting hold of contractors.
Do you think you can get it cleaned up or rehabilitated by May? Sometime in May?
I hope so.
Do you know when? Early part of May, mid-May?
Like I said, it depends on the contractor. We haven't had a chance yet to get them out there to see it. But once they get in there and able to do it, I would hopefully within a couple of weeks we're pushing them to get that done. So I hope it's by the end of May.
Brian, do you know what's going on?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know about the location, the property. It's in great distress, and it will be a challenge. But if the council so wishes, they could table till next month, or we could they do understand that everything carries over to the new buyer. They would still have to sign a rehab agreement and still would get 6 months to be able to accomplish an occupiable building.
Can it be rehab?
Anything can be rehabbed, Mr.
Yeah,
Brown.
but, well, at the cost of,
It's got some extensive, now, I think they were talking about a termite inspection and they did not find termite.
It was water damage. It was not termites.
In my opinion, I thought it did, but it could be termite that's not active. Anytime you open walls up and you get into the skeletal of the walls, then you might find other issues. But we have a flat 6-month rehab agreement, and that's what they're doing. They put up their bond, and then they have to meet that 6-month agreement.
Mayor, I make a motion we table this till next month.
Second.
You're okay with that, Mr. Smith? We got a motion to table.
That's fine.
All right, we got a motion and a second to table this give you until May to get your ownership worked out. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hold it. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we'll take.
Let her know that we're going to readdress it.
Yeah, May 17th is the council meeting next month, so we'll need something by then. And did you say we could have a copy of what you got there? Okay.
We done, Mayor?
She has noticed that we're going to address it again. Lending institution.
Good. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Motion adjourned?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you all.
Yes.
I couldn't understand. I didn't understand her at all.